Hello, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Henry, and I'm here with my fantastic co-host, Sarah. Hey, Sarah.
Hey Henry, hi everyone. We're super excited to be back with another episode to help you improve your English, one conversation at a time.
Absolutely. And today's episode is going to be a powerful one. We're talking about something every English learner wants: how to speak like a pro.
Yes, whether you're preparing for a job interview, giving a presentation, or just want to sound more natural and confident in conversations, this episode is for you.
Now, when we say speak like a pro, we don't mean you need to use big, complicated words. No. Speaking like a pro means being clear, confident, and effective in the way you communicate.
Exactly. We're going to break down some key elements of professional speaking, like pronunciation, vocabulary, fluency, and confidence, and we'll also do a fun role play later in the episode.
And we've got something special for you at the end: a speaking challenge that you can try at home to practice what you've learned today.
So stick with us, grab a notebook if you want, and let's dive into the world of speaking English like a pro.
All right, Sarah, let's warm things up. When you hear the phrase speak like a pro, what comes to your mind?
Good question. For me, it's not about using fancy words or having a British accent. It's more about how clear and confident someone sounds when they speak English.
Totally agree. You know, I used to think speaking like a pro meant you had to sound like a native speaker. But that's just not true. You can have an accent and still sound professional.
Yes, having an accent just means you speak more than one language, and that's something to be proud of. What matters more is how well you express your ideas.
Exactly. And it's also about being a good listener and knowing when to pause, when to emphasize something. All those little things that make you sound natural and polished.
Let's give a quick example. Say someone asks you, "Tell me about yourself." You could say, I'm from, Spain and I, like, uh, working in,
Yeah, we've all been there. But imagine if you said, I'm originally from Spain, and I have a strong interest in working with international teams. I enjoy learning languages and helping others communicate better. That sounds more confident, right?
Very much so, and the only difference is practice, vocabulary choice, and delivery. You don't have to speak fast. You just need to speak clearly and with purpose.
And here's the thing: speaking like a pro is a learnable skill. It's not a talent you're born with. It's something you build over time.
Right? So if you're listening to this and thinking, "That'll never be me," stop right there. It can be you. We're going to help you take that next step today.
Love that. So, let's break it down. What are the key ingredients to speaking like a pro? Coming up: pronunciation, vocabulary, and confidence. Plus, we'll share some tips you can try. All right, let's dive into our first key element: clarity and pronunciation. Sarah, why do you think this is so important?
Well, even if your grammar is perfect, if people can't understand your pronunciation, your message won't come across. Clarity is what helps people follow what you're saying, especially in professional situations like meetings or presentations.
Exactly. You don't have to sound like a native speaker, but you do need to be understandable. I always tell learners, focus on clear sounds, not fast speech.
Yes. In fact, speaking slower often helps with clarity. You give yourself more time to pronounce words properly and think about your sentence structure.
Let's talk about some common pronunciation challenges English learners face. One I hear a lot is mixing up ship and sheep. That short I versus the long E, it changes the whole meaning.
Oh, yes, and also live and leave same problem, vowel length. Let's do a little quick fix for that. Listeners, try this. Repeat after me, ship. Sheep, ship, sheep.
Nice! And here's another one. The TH sound in words like think or this. A lot of learners replace it with S or D, so think becomes sink or this becomes dis.
Totally. And that can cause confusion. A good trick is to lightly place your tongue between your teeth and blow air out. Like this, think, this.
Let's have our listeners try that out loud. Ready? Repeat after us. Think this thought.
That's great practice. And here's a pro tip: record yourself speaking. When you play it back, you can catch mistakes you might not notice in real time.
Oh yes, and there are free apps for this. Even your phone's voice recorder works fine. Record a short paragraph, maybe from a book or article, and listen for how you pronounce key words.
Also, listen to native speakers. I love watching interviews or TED Talks with subtitles. You hear the rhythm, stress, and pronunciation all at once.
That's a good point. English has word stress. For example, in the word present, if you say pre-sent, noun, it's a gift. But if you say present, verb, it means to give or show something.
Right. Stress can totally change the meaning, and understanding that helps you speak more naturally. One last thing, don't let fears stop you.
Yes, don't be afraid of making pronunciation mistakes. The more you practice, the more you improve. Every fluent speaker you've heard was once a beginner.
So let's summarize. 1. Speak clearly, not quickly. 2. Practice tricky sounds like thou and vowel lengths. 3. Use word stress and intonation. 4. Record and listen to yourself.
Coming up next, how your word choice can take you from sounding casual to completely professional. Let's go! All right, now let's talk about one of my favorite parts of communication vocabulary and word choice. Because, let's be honest, the words you use can really shape how people see you.
Absolutely. And when you're speaking English in a professional or formal setting, your vocabulary becomes even more important. It's not about sounding complicated. It's about choosing the right words for the right moment.
Exactly. Let's compare some everyday phrases with more professional alternatives, just to show our listeners what we mean. Instead of saying, I think, you could say,
I believe, or in my opinion, more polished but still very natural.
yes. And instead of saying, I'm not sure, you could say,
I'm not certain, or let me double check and get back to you. That last one sounds really professional and confident.
how about this one? Instead of saying, it's a big problem, try,
It's a significant issue, or it presents a major challenge. You still express the same idea, but with a more refined tone.
now, let's make it fun. I'll say a basic sentence, and you upgrade it. Okay, I don't like it.
How about, it's not to my preference, or I'd prefer an alternative.
Nice. How about, she's really good at her job.
She's highly competent, or she demonstrates strong professional skills.
I love that. And now for our listeners, try this one. Take the phrase, I want to say something, and think of a more professional way to express it. We'll give you a few seconds.
Here are some options. I'd like to add something, or may I contribute a point? See? Same meaning, just smoother and more professional.
One of the best ways to build your vocabulary is to learn words in context. So, instead of memorizing long lists of words, read short articles, watch interviews, or listen to podcasts like this one.
Yes, and notice how professionals speak in meetings, interviews, or conferences. You'll start to pick up not just the words they use, but also how they say them.
Also, use collocations words that naturally go together. Like, make a decision, not do a decision. Take responsibility, not have responsibility.
That's a big one. And don't worry if you mess up sometimes. What matters is that you keep using English actively and keep improving your word choice.
Let's quickly summarize. 1. Upgrade casual phrases to more polished expressions. 2. Learn vocabulary in context, through reading and listening. 3. Use collocations and natural pairings. 4th, practice paraphrasing simple sentences into professional ones.
Coming up next, the secret to sounding confident and fluent, even when you're nervous. You won't want to miss it.
All right? It's time for one of the biggest challenges for English learners: confidence and fluency. Sarah, even advanced learners sometimes say, "I know the words, but I freeze when I speak."
Oh, yes, that's super common. And honestly, even native speakers get nervous in professional settings. But the good news is, confidence is a skill, not a personality trait.
Exactly. And confidence leads to fluency. When you're relaxed, your brain can access the words faster. But when you're tense, you second-guess yourself, right?
So true. One thing I always tell students is, don't aim for perfect. Aim for progress. You don't need to speak like a news anchor. You need to keep the conversation going.
That's where fluency comes in. Fluency doesn't mean speaking fast. It means speaking smoothly, without long pauses or lots of,
Let's give our listeners a little tip here. If you don't know a word, don't panic. Try to paraphrase. For example, if you forget the word supervisor, you can say, "the person who manages my team."
Perfect. That's smart communication. And honestly, people do that in every language. It's a normal skill, not a weakness.
Here's another tip. Think in English. If you're always translating from your native language in your head, it slows you down and adds pressure. So start with small thoughts, like "I am hungry." It's a sunny day, just think them in English.
Yes, and talk to yourself. Seriously. I do this in other languages I'm learning, like narrate your actions. Now I'm making coffee. I will answer an email. I need to leave in 10 minutes. It trains your brain to produce English without fear.
And if you can, find someone to practice with, a language partner, a tutor, even voice chat groups online. Speaking regularly builds confidence like nothing else.
Let's also address the fear of making mistakes. A lot of learners freeze because they're afraid of saying something wrong.
Mistakes are part of the process, and most people won't even notice. They'll just be impressed that you're communicating in another language. So be kind to yourself.
Here's a mini speaking drill for our listeners. Ready? Repeat this short sentence 3 times, getting smoother each time. I am improving my English every day.
Great job. You can do this with any sentence. The key is repetition. It builds fluency and confidence together.
Let's summarize some confidence and fluency boosters. 1. Don't aim for perfect. Aim for progress. 2. Think in English. 3. Paraphrase when you forget a word. Practice daily, even if it's just 5 minutes. 5. Embrace mistakes. They're proof you're trying.
Beautifully said. Coming up next, we're going to do a real-life role play to show you what professional English sounds like in action.
So don't go anywhere. This part is fun and super practical. Okay, it's time to put everything into action. We're going to do a short role play of a professional situation, a job interview. I'll play the interviewer, and Sarah, you'll be the candidate. Ready?
Ready. Let's show them how it's done.
Good afternoon, Sarah. Thanks for coming in today. Let's start with a simple question. Can you tell me a little about yourself?
Of course. My name is Sarah Lynn. I'm a communications specialist with 5 years of experience working in international teams. I have a strong background in digital content creation and client communication, and I'm passionate about building clear and engaging messages for different audiences.
Excellent! Why are you interested in this position?
I've followed your company's work for a while, and I admire your approach to global branding. This role is a great match for my skills, especially in cross-cultural communication and digital strategy. I'm excited about the opportunity to contribute to a team that values creativity and impact.
Very nice. Now let me ask, how do you handle pressure or tight deadlines?
Great question. I stay calm under pressure by staying organized and focusing on priorities. I use task management tools to break down large projects into smaller steps, and I always communicate clearly with my team to avoid surprises. I see tight deadlines as a chance to stay sharp and efficient.
Great answers, Sarah. Thanks again for coming in today.
Thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate your time and hope to work with you soon.
All right. And scene. That was awesome, Sarah. You sounded clear, confident, and professional.
Thank you. And notice, I didn't use difficult words. I just made sure my ideas were organized and I used positive, professional language.
Right. You used phrases like, I have a strong background I'm passionate about. I stay calm under pressure. All of those sound great in interviews or presentations.
And I made sure to pause to give my answers space. You don't need to rush. In fact, slower, thoughtful speech sounds more professional.
So if you're listening and getting ready for an interview, try recording yourself answering questions like these. Practice until it sounds smooth.
And if you don't have interviews coming up, you can still practice this as a speaking exercise. Pick a topic, pretend someone asked you about it, and answer like a pro.
Coming up next, a quick look at some common mistakes to avoid when trying to sound professional in English. All right, now that we've practiced what to do, let's talk about what not to do. These are some common pitfalls that can hold learners back from sounding professional.
Yes. And these mistakes are totally normal, so don't feel bad if you've made them. What matters is that you learn and move forward.
First pitfall: using too much slang or overly casual language in formal situations. For example, saying, "Yeah, totally. That's cool in a business meeting, not the best choice."
Right. Instead, say absolutely or that sounds great, still friendly, but more professional.
Second pitfall: overusing filler words like, like, or basically, we all do it. But too many fillers can make you sound unsure.
Yes, a short pause is better than filling space. Practice slowing down and letting silence work for you.
Another one: speaking too fast. Many learners try to sound fluent by speeding up, but it usually leads to unclear speech and more mistakes.
Exactly. Slow down, focus on clarity. Professionals speak with calm, confident pacing.
And finally, not preparing. Whether it's an interview, presentation, or phone call, a little preparation goes a long way. Rehearse key phrases and plan what you want to say.
To sum up, 1. Avoid casual slang in formal settings. 2. Minimize filler words. 3. Don't rush. Slow, clear speech wins. 4. Always prepare.
Coming up next, it's time for our interactive speaking challenge. Are you ready to speak like... All right, it's time for our listener practice challenge. This is your chance to apply what you've learned today in real time.
Here's how it works. We'll give you 3 short speaking tasks. After each one, you'll have a few seconds to speak out loud. Don't worry about being perfect. Just practice speaking clearly and confidently.
Ready? Here's task 1. Introduce yourself professionally in 2 or 3 sentences. Think about your name, your background, and what you do. Go ahead. You have 20 seconds.
Great job. Now here's task 2. Explain how you stay organized at work or school. Use phrases like I usually, to manage my time, or one helpful tool is ready? Speak for 20 seconds.
Awesome! Now for task 3. This one's a bit fun. Talk about a challenge you faced and how you handled it. Try to use professional vocabulary and a confident tone. You've got 20 seconds.
Nice work! Remember, practicing like this, out loud, is one of the best ways to build fluency and confidence.
And if you want to go further, record your answers, listen back, and try again. Each time, you'll sound more like a pro.
Coming up, our final thoughts and how to keep improving after today's episode.
Now, before we wrap up, let's take a couple of questions from our amazing listeners. These were sent in earlier this week. Thank you to everyone who reached out.
Yes. Our first question comes from Luis in Mexico. He asks, how can I stop translating from my native language when I speak English?
Great question. The key is to immerse yourself in English as much as possible. Start thinking in simple English sentences, even about everyday things like, what will I eat today? Or, I need to go to work.
Also, surround yourself with English podcasts, music, short YouTube clips. The more input you get, the more naturally English structures will come to mind without translation.
Next question is from Amina in Egypt. She says, what if I know a lot of vocabulary but still can't speak fluently?
That's so common, Amina. Knowing words is only part of the picture. Speaking fluently means you've practiced using those words in real conversation. Try speaking daily, even just for 5 minutes. Practice thinking aloud, joining online conversation groups, or even shadowing native speakers.
And don't worry about long sentences. Start small and build up. Fluency comes with consistency.
Last one, from Ravi in India. How can I sound more confident in meetings or interviews?
Awesome question, Ravi. One tip, prepare a few go-to phrases ahead of time. That way, when you're nervous, you don't have to think. You already have the words.
And slow down your speech. Confident speakers don't rush. Use pauses to give yourself time and show you're in control.
Great questions today. If you have one for a future episode, send us a message on Instagram or email us. We love hearing from you.
Coming up, our final thoughts and tips to keep growing after today's podcast.
All right, we've covered a lot today. Let's quickly recap the key takeaways from today's episode, so you can walk away feeling confident and ready to speak like a pro.
First, we talked about clarity and pronunciation. Remember, clear speech is about slow, controlled sounds, not speaking fast. Practice tricky sounds like the and focus on vowel lengths. And as always, don't forget to record yourself to hear where you can improve.
Next, we discussed vocabulary and word choice. Use more professional phrases instead of casual ones. For example, instead of saying, I think try, I believe. And, of course, practice collocations, like make a decision instead of do a decision.
Then we moved on to confidence and fluency. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about staying calm and speaking smoothly. Practice thinking in English, avoid overusing filler words, and embrace mistakes as part of the learning process.
And we wrapped up with a real-life role play, like a job interview. Whether it's for an interview or just a conversation, use those professional phrases, keep your answers organized, and remember to pause if you need time to think.
Finally, we covered common pitfalls to avoid, like speaking too quickly, using too much slang, or not preparing enough. These little things can make a big difference in how you're perceived.
That's right. So, here's our challenge for you. Take everything you've learned today and practice it in your daily life. Start small. even if it's just practicing one sentence a day or speaking with a friend.
And remember, practice makes progress. You don't have to be perfect, but you do need to keep moving forward. Stay consistent, stay confident, and keep speaking like a pro.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of the English Learning Podcast. We hope you enjoyed this journey towards speaking like a pro.
If you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave us a review. We love hearing from you and can't wait to see you in our next episode.
Take care, everyone, and keep practicing. You're doing great.
See you next time.